adopt. We're going to adopt through a private agency. We're going to find a way financially. We can weather the emotional storm. We've certainly weathered those. And that's how we're going to meet our baby. So I got through my procedure and lived, and I claimed bill of health. It was a colonoscopy. It was nothing life threatening. And I had already talked to my husband about this revelation I had, this epiphany, and he was on board. Like, okay, here we go. But right from the beginning, it was a different journey. This decision to pursue adoption. It wasn't wading in and exploring things. It was very much a commitment of, okay, we have said, we've accepted the proposal. I think of it as when you build a family through marriage. You start with that, yes, I will marry you. And that was a yes, I will marry you, or the moment of conception. I kind of think of it as like in our mind, we committed to this new family member. And I already had my little research files and things. And I already knew that we wanted to go through American Adoptions. And when I was exploring adoption, private adoption agencies years ago, the thing that struck me the most, besides the massive number, so it's anywhere between like $30,000 to $50,000 to adopt a baby domestically. Adoption is a complicated world in terms of all of the choices that you have, whether you're going to choose to adopt internationally versus domestic adoption, and the age of your child. So I'm happy to answer any questions about that. I feel sometimes that it's made over complicated. There are many factors to consider and questions to address, but I mean, there are ways to break it down and make it more simple too. So if you have questions about the types of adoption, I'm happy to answer those. Just leave me a comment or send me a message. You can find contact information on loveyourplayground.com. I wanted to go with American Adoption because of their insurance policy. So they are more expensive than a lot of agencies, but they're very upfront about their costs according to them. We are just in the initial process, the beginning of our process to adopt. And so far I've loved working with them, but I will be capturing the whole process. So hopefully they continue to be great partners. I will let you know. I like that they seem to be transparent about the costs. I love the way that they're very intentional about working with adoptive families and birth families. Policies around open adoption is the only kind of adoption that they offer, and they give a lot of guidance and support for ensuring that relationships between adoptive and birth families are positive. I really love that American Adoptions is mindful, the way that they approach adoption. And I also really appreciated that while they're upfront about this higher price of adoption, about $50,000, that should the adoption fail, should the birth parents decide to retain their parental rights at the end of the process, you do get a large chunk of your money back, which you can apply to another adoption, which would be our plan. We are not finishing until we meet our baby. So I knew that we wanted to go with American Adoptions, and so I instantly contacted them and got in touch with some of their great people. And when you're working with an agency like American Adoption, they're large and they have lots of people in-house. So they have the person that you contact initially, and then you're placed with an adoption specialist, and you have people working on media components of your adoption profile with you, and you have lawyers that you're going to be working with in-house. And so and if you get your home study through them, then you have that caseworker. In our case, because we live in Washington State, we had to find our caseworker to do our home study for us. But American Adoptions was able to supply us with a list of individuals who work with them regularly, and so it's just been super easy and convenient. The gal that we're working with, Jill, knows what to do for American Adoptions paperwork and has been lovely to work with so far. So in the last month, we have focused on dealing with financial aspect, which I mentioned was one of the big hurdles for us, looking at that $50,000. We do not have $50,000 in the bank to spare, period. So that money had to come from somewhere, and many people do things like reaching out to family and friends, doing a GoFundMe campaign. They take advantage of grants, but a lot of those resources we either wouldn't qualify for or don't feel comfortable with. We really wanted this to be something that we could do on our own, and we wanted to make sure that once we have our child, we'll be able to financially support them. So we're really trying to be intentional about choosing a financial path that wouldn't ruin us and make it hard to actually raise our baby. So I have an uncle who is very adept and skillful at handling finances and knows the financial world. And one of the first things he mentioned to me was a cash out refinance. And serendipitously, my husband has been wanting to refinance our house for a while, just because of the great rates right now, and for a few other reasons. And so that sounded like the perfect option. So we talked to our mortgage company and got that set up, and were able to pull that exact amount out of the house. So I was so excited and relieved about this option, because it means that it's not the private loan that I was dreading, or some people put it on credit cards, options that really felt like they wouldn't be good options for us. And this was a perfect option. So my uncle had other suggestions too. And I highly encourage you, if you're considering adoption and finances are in the way, there are options out there. You just need to dig for them. Start with a Google search, ways to finance adoption, and there are some great ideas out there. But if you can, a cash out refinance was definitely the way to go for us. So once we had the finances down, then it was a matter of starting to check off the large and overwhelming checklist of items required by our adoption agency and the licensor doing our home study. And so after doing foster care preparation, this felt like a rather small checklist, but had we not done the foster care process, our eyes, I think, would have bugged out of our head to see all of these things that are required from the agency. So when working with American Adoptions, a big part of what they're doing is marketing you to birth parents. And so that's a large chunk of the fees, I think about $11,000, which is a non-refundable portion, and you can continue to use it if you adopt other children through them, is for a media package. And so American Adoptions and their specialists create a media profile for you that includes a video, that includes a pamphlet of information. So there are a series of questions that you respond to. You send quite a bit of photos and other media, and then they work through a media company which sends you a camera, and you take footage using a checklist they give you of different things you need to capture, and then they put that together to create a video for you. So you can actually find our adoption video and other adoption videos on the American Adoptions YouTube channel, so you can kind of see what I mean about the video profile that they put together for you. So at this point, we have completed all of the paperwork. We have our home study next week, and once that home study is complete, we have just a couple weeks to wait, however long it takes Jill, to our licensor, the gal that's doing our home study, to put together the paperwork for us and send it to American Adoptions. That's the last step for us. Everything else has been turned in over the last month. And so at that point, once they receive our paperwork, we become active. And from that point forward, birth families can see our profile, and we come up as potential adoptive parents. When those birth parents are searching or when they're talking to American Adoptions, our American Adoption, our adoption specialist said that they get calls from, I think it was something like 700 prospective birth parents a month, and many of them end up not adopting. They choose a different route or other things happen. But our profiles as adoptive parents are seen like 30 times a month. And so most families are matched with a child between 3 to 12 months. And our adoption specialist told us, once you're active, be ready at any time, because if you get a call, you have 48 hours to make your decision. And then if the child has already been born, you're on a plane going to pick up this child. One of the other things we like about American Adoptions is our baby can be born in anywhere in the nation. They are a national agency. So at this point, we are starting to kind of get the house ready, which is against the advice of the gal doing our home study. But we would rather err on the side of having everything ready in case than it falling through and being disappointed having the room set up. She didn't want us to have that emotional pain, but we've been down that road before. It's not fun, but we can handle it. And we know that if something does fall through, then we try again. And so we are ready for that together. And that, of course, is a very personal decision. That's a decision we're making. So we are working now on getting the house ready for our home study and just for our baby. And we are so excited about this next phase and feel grateful that we are at this point where we are ready to grow our family and just feeling really excited. I just have this sense that very soon we will meet our baby, and I hope that I'm right. Thank you for watching today. I hope that this helps and that it's encouraging to anyone seeking to adopt. Maybe give you some information. Again, if you have any questions, leave a comment or reach out to me. I would love to help you on your way. We're all in this together, all as humans, trying to build our families in different ways, and it's a beautiful thing. So I will see you all next time.